the live stream catch, the people that are here. I hope that you can hear how this crowd is. Because this crowd is something else tonight. Thank you for being our friends tonight, Tomorrowland. Did I tell you that we love you?
Let's see you. We came here to create memories. Tomorrowland, let us see your beautiful hands in here.
This holiday, Verizon's got the crazy.
know some of y'all remember this from the raves back in the day. Shout out to a dusty, filthy ass warehouse and some Mitsubishis. Let's see them glow sticks. 90s was a weird place, I'm telling you. It was a weird place. Anyway, welcome to the Lunch Money Show with me and Pigskin Pete. What's up, Pete?
Yo. I love the late 90s, man.
Man, they don't know, man.
No.
They think we're old, me and you.
Well, we are, but I spent more than a few nights in an old dusty warehouse, like you said, back in the late 90s.
Yeah. Boy, I tell you. It's weird. I don't know what, maybe I came across something on TikTok earlier about one of those old rave songs from the 90s, and it got me down that rabbit hole. And so I came back here on YouTube, and I looked up like 90s rave footage. Damn, there's some funny shit on there, man. We knew what we were doing, though. At least we thought we did.
Yeah,
anyway,
we lived.
Yeah, we lived through it. Anyway, happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to week 14, the final week of the regular season, 2025 college football, and it's rivalry weekend. So we got some amazing games coming up this weekend. Of course, all the big rivalries: Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia Tech, Clemson, South Carolina. Just two Texas A&M, 2 full days of games this week, all day Friday and all day Saturday. I think there's even a game on Thursday, too. We'll take a look at it here in a second. But this is the Lunch Money Show, so me and Pete have got a couple of games each picked out that we feel like we can make some money on this week. I barely, and I mean barely, kept my streak alive this week against that scumbucket gypsy bookie what lives across the river. Finished the week up $35.
Hey. That's better than losing.
Yeah, it's just wild that you can. I don't know how much money total I gambled over the course of the week. It was probably $1,500 or $2,000 total, and to end up just $35 up or $35 down, it's just crazy how that works. But I was telling the lady this morning when the gypsy paid me the $35, I was like, "Yeah, this doesn't feel as good as the last 2 weeks when he was, it was like $1,500 a couple of weeks ago and $700 or $800 last week." I said, "But during like May." I'd be happy as shit if the gypsy had to pay me $35.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyway, it's on to a new week now. I'm not going to waste time bragging about last week because last time I did that, I took an absolute beating. It's time to look forward to this weekend's games and, like I said, try to figure out a way here to make some money betting on the upcoming slate of games. So, Pete, you're up first today.
Yeah. Sitting down looking at these, I forget every year, the rivalry weekend is probably the hardest weekend to bet. I know people are like, oh, you can throw the records out the window. I don't really think it's that extreme. I mean, some of these teams are still good and some of them really bad. But because it is a rivalry weekend, I think it is a little bit harder to pick against the spread here. But we're going to give it a shot anyway. The first one I'm going to do is in ACC versus the SEC matchup. Louisville versus Kentucky. This game is in Louisville. Louisville is favored by 2.5. Kentucky's been terrible all year towards the bottom of the SEC. And Louisville started out the season hot on a hot streak. Went, what were they, like 6-0 or 7-0? Anyway, they're on a losing streak now. And Louisville's favored in this game. Now, the line to me is funny because Louisville's favored by less than 3 points at home. Usually you get about 3 points for being at home. So Vegas thinks this is probably about a pick 'em. But I'm taking Louisville here this time. This is one of the worst Kentucky teams we've seen in a while. And despite the fact that Louisville's on a losing streak, I still think this is one of the better Louisville teams we've seen in the past few years. So I think Louisville gets it done at home and covers the 2.5 here.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm leaning Kentucky here. Louisville, like you said, on a losing streak. Kentucky hasn't been great either. They do have that win against Florida a couple of weeks ago, 38-7 or whatever it was. But I'm not no shit talking here, but the ACC is pathetic.
Yeah, I know.
They're losing to ACC teams. I don't know. I can't buy into them. Because it's such a small line, I'll take Kentucky. To win outright on the road at Louisville. This is not going to be a great game. Kentucky is not a good team. You look at the other games that are coming on at noon. This would be 6th or 7th on my list of games to watch just at noon. Ohio State, Michigan, Miami, and Pitt is must watch this week. Obviously, Clemson and South Carolina's on at noon. So not very many people will watch that game, but I don't have much faith in the ACC. I'm going to go ahead and take Kentucky there. And that's going to be a theme that continues throughout this show, much to your chagrin. Because I also like South Carolina to win. That's my first pick this week. I like South Carolina. This game comes on at noon. It's in South Carolina. Big home field advantage there. Plus the advantage of not having to play at Clemson, who also has a really good home field advantage. I think they've got the best player in Lenore Sellers. He hasn't been as good this year overall as everybody thought he would be. But I think South Carolina gets the win here at home. Another small line, just 2.5 here on ESPN. I don't know what it is on the Gypsy site. I haven't looked at it yet, but I just can't. I don't really know what all went wrong with Clemson this year. I still think they're really talented, especially that front seven on defense. Almost all of them are going to be playing in the NFL. But this has just been a forgettable season for both teams, really. This is really the only salvageable thing either team really could take away from this season would be, well, we won our in-state rivalry game. South Carolina's won 2 of the last 3, but they have not won at home in a long, long time. Their last 2 wins were at Clemson. I think they get it done at home this time. I'm going to take the lowly Gamecocks to get it done against the Taters.
Well, I've already picked South Carolina to win this game, so I actually agree with you here. The unsettling thing if you're South Carolina is you haven't beat Clemson in your own stadium since like 2011 or whatever, so like 14 years, 15 years, which is a pretty unbelievable stat there. But South Carolina has won 2 out of the last 3. There's a lot of players on both of these teams that were on the same team last year, and last year Clemson could not stop Lenore Sellers. I think that South Carolina has the advantage at quarterback, big time, with Sellers over Klubnik. I think Clemson has the advantage at wide receiver. Now they do. South Carolina's got Nick Harbor, who's an absolute monster, but I think Clemson's just deeper at wide receiver. The problem is they don't have a quarterback that can get him the ball competently enough. If Clemson wants to have a chance in this game, they're not going to be able to stop Lenore Sellers because they haven't been able to stop anybody that's even remotely as talented as him at quarterback all year. So they're not going to do it this time. But they're going to have to cause a couple of turnovers. They're going to have to run the ball well. Garrett Riley's listening, and of course he is. You're going to have to run the ball, Garrett, and Klubnik's just going to have to not fuck it up, basically. But he's fucked up a lot of games this year and last year. So, but outside of that, I just think I think all things point toward the Gamecocks getting this done for the first time since 2011 in Columbia. Unfortunately, I hope I'm wrong though.
Yeah,
I'm not betting on it though. I say that. I say that every week. I end up fucking doing it.
Well, I haven't put. I got busy doing some other things. I actually haven't put any bets in yet today. I'll have to pull up the lines on the Gypsy site tomorrow because I like to place 3 or 4 bets early in the week, but I didn't get a chance to do it today. But what's your next one?
All right, this one is it's probably one of my favorite ones of the week. Actually, I don't really have a lot of favorites, honestly, but Alabama and Auburn, the Iron Bowl. And this is one where they say, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. We're like, oh, Alabama and Auburn, you can throw the records out the window. Yeah, well, no, I don't think so. Not this year. Alabama's favored by 5 on the road at Auburn. I get it. It's a rivalry. I get it. It's at Auburn, and Auburn's a tough place to play, and blah, blah, blah. Alabama is trying to make it to the SEC championship game, and they need to win this game. And Auburn's a terrible team. So anything less than 10, it's 5. I got it at 5.5 earlier today. I don't know what it is now. But anything less than 10, I probably would still take Alabama. But if you like Alabama in this game, I would probably take it right now at less than 6 is what I got of that.
I agree. I mean, every time this game comes up, well, really with a lot of rivalry games, when I don't have really a rooting interest one way or the other, I'm like, man, it would be great if we could see some upsets here. I just can't buy into Auburn. I mean, I know the offense has showed some signs of life since getting rid of Hugh Freeze, but they're playing a freshman quarterback here, Deuce Knight. And I know he's a 5-star and he's going to be good next year and win the Heisman and MTV awards and all that. I know that. But this seems like a lot of pressure here. Actually, I don't know. He might not play, actually. It might be the other guy. What's his name? Ashton Daniels, is that the other guy's name?
Well, he's not very good anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a quarterback hokey pokey there all year. They, of course, had the guy from Oklahoma, Jackson Arnold. He crashed and burned. They tried the other guy. It was no good. They put Deuce Knight in, and everybody wants to see him because he's the new shiny object. So, but on the road at Jordan-Hare, I know weird things happen there. Now, I haven't bet this game yet, and I don't know that I will bet it either. But with everything that Alabama has on the line here, including possibly Kalen DeBoer's job, as crazy as that sounds, I don't think Alabama's going to lose this game. So I like Bama there. All right, let's see. Moving on. My other one was back up here. Where did it go? I'm going to talk about Ohio State, Michigan. It's the biggest game of the week. Now, disclaimer, I've been wrong about this game 3 out of the last 4 years.
Me too.
So I'll probably be wrong again. But I'm taking Ohio State. Not only that, I think it gets ugly.
Woo.
I think Ohio State is messing around. They have, and I don't mean this to take a shot like some people, this whole back and forth between the SEC and the Big Ten about scheduling. That's not the angle I'm taking here. But Ohio State has been so much better than the teams they've been playing. I really think they're just kind of going through the motions. I think they barely have gotten to play page 2 in the playbook offensively. They've got 3 or 4 weapons on offense that would be the best player on a team in almost any other team in the country, including obviously Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. I mean, they've rested half their starters during conference games over the last 2 weeks. I don't mean in the second half. I just mean they haven't played. They just haven't needed them. I don't think Jeremiah Smith's hurt, and I don't think Carnell Tate's hurt. They're just resting them. And they have the luxury to do that because they're that good. And I think they are going to unload one on Michigan if they can. Now, there's a possibility they can't, but I don't think it's going to be a situation like we saw last year. Ryan Day and that game plan they had last year in that game was a complete disaster. It was a pissing contest. Ryan Day wanted to make himself feel better. I'm just going to run the ball down their throat and beat them at their own game. Well, you couldn't, and you lost. I don't think we're going to see that this year. I wouldn't be surprised if Sayan had 300 yards passing, 3 or 4 touchdowns. I have a feeling Ohio State has been saving up for this game, and I think they're going to unload. I like Ohio State to win big on the road at Ann Arbor. But like I said, I've been wrong 3 of the last 4 years in this game, and it would be hilarious if Michigan beat them for the 5th year in a row. And I'd be right there laughing if it happens. But my pick on the game is going to be Ohio State big.
I understand everything you just said, and I really want to agree with you. I do think Ohio State's obviously better. I agree with what you said about it looks like they're just going through the motions right now in cruise control and waiting until the postseason to really unload. Oh, I believe all those things are true. But there's still a mental thing here. And this game's in Michigan. And 10 points from a betting standpoint in a game like this where they've lost, 5 games in a row to Michigan. It's in Ann Arbor. 10 points is too much for me. From a betting standpoint, I would probably take Michigan with the points here. Now, if Ohio State went out there and won 40 to 10, believe me, I wouldn't be surprised. But if I'm picking against the spread here, I'm taking the team that's won 5 years in a row at home. It's not like Michigan's a 3-win team or anything either. I mean,
yeah, they're somehow 9-2. I don't know how, but somehow they are. So they still have everything to play for too. It's not like Michigan is just here to play the role of spoiler by giving Ohio State some type of a loss. In fact, it's Ohio State that has the chance to play spoiler here by knocking Michigan out of the playoff race. I don't care where Michigan is ranked today in the AP poll or tomorrow in the college football playoff poll. If they're 10-2 with a win over Ohio State, there will be room made somewhere in that top 12 for them to get into the playoffs. So this is basically
that'd be the best win of anybody in football this year.
Yeah. So this is basically a playoff game for Michigan. Ohio State's got a chance to not just break the losing streak to Michigan, which they obviously want to do, but in the process eliminate Michigan from the playoffs. So a little extra ammunition there for Ohio State. Not that they need it, but it's going to be a great. I can't wait to watch it. I think it's the best rivalry in football right now. I think it's better than
right
the
now, I
Iron
think so,
Bowl
too.
right now. I think it's better than Texas Oklahoma right now. I think it's better than whatever other else you want to throw out there. I'm not going to get into debate about what's the best all time or whatever. I don't know about all that. But right now, this Ohio State-Michigan game to me is the best rivalry in all of college football. So
Is that coming on at noon?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why? Big noon kickoff?
Big noon
Is that what this
kickoff.
shit is?
Yeah, well, in this game, traditionally is always played at noon.
I know. Fuck tradition.
Yeah.
Put it on at night. That's a primetime game.
There aren't really any primetime games in the Big Ten, though. Think about it.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
kind of a
this one
noon
should be,
league.
though.
They're kind of a noon. They're a noon league.
This is off the subject, but I just saw somebody in the chat a minute ago type that they laid $1,000 on Georgia Tech. Now, I hope you really meant that you laid $1,000 on Georgia Tech with the points. I mean, even that's suspect, but it's better than if you bet them on a money line at $1,000. You hate money more than anybody.
Yeah, somebody definitely hates money if they did. Who did that?
Yeah, I don't know who said that.
Usually, if somebody says an amount that high, they're lying and didn't bet at all.
Yeah, right here. Finalstein. Final Einstein.
Yeah, that's definitely a troll.
Okay.
That's definitely just a troll. Yeah.
And now he's saying you bet money line. Yeah. All right. Well, you could have just sent me the money instead. Dude. You're gonna get the same outcome.
Yeah. Just a troll. Joined YouTube yesterday.
Yeah.
His account was created yesterday, so it's just a troll there. And you're still welcome to comment and hang around, or you can log back into your regular account, whatever you want to do. But it's definitely a troll account. It was literally created yesterday.
Huh.
Let me see. Make sure. Yeah, joined 1 day ago.
Yeah, created the account yesterday in a 24-hour preparation to come troll the Lunch Money Show.
Yeah,
that's actually some dedication there.
Yeah. We love the trolls, man. Welcome home, bud. Welcome home. All right. What's next for you?
All right, I'm staying in the ACC this time. This is a big game in the ACC. Pittsburgh and Miami. Of course, Miami on the bubble right now. They're not going to make the ACC championship game. They're looking for an at-large bid. We won't even go into the whole Miami and Notre Dame situation. It's kind of been a dead horse at this point. But anyway, they got to go on the road and play Pittsburgh, who just absolutely destroyed Georgia Tech. That game hurt me in the betting this week. I had to do some crazy shit to get myself back online. But I had three bets on that, 3 big bets on that game. One before the game and 2 live bets on it.
I love when we're down bad and then we go, I'm gonna have to do something crazy to get back right. Knowing good and damn well that doing something crazy is what got us in the hole to start with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't advise doing that. Now, it ended up working out for me, but it's a low percentage strategy. Let's put it that way. It's a very low percentage. I would not recommend anybody do that. But anyway, yeah. So they just Pittsburgh absolutely destroyed. I mean, Pat Narduzzi. I mean, he's kind of a dickhead. I don't really like the guy, but he's not a liar. He said he didn't care about the Notre Dame game. Clearly, Notre Dame went in there and mopped the floor with him. He said he just wanted to win the rest of his ACC games, and he started with Georgia Tech and just bent him right over his knee and smacked her little ass. So anyway, look, Miami has not looked like the same team they did in the first half of the season. They're still winning. They blew a couple teams out, a couple bad teams out in the past few weeks. We saw what happened last week with them. They did win, 34-17 with a touchdown late with a minute left or less than a minute left in that game. And I don't blame them for doing that. They're trying to get, as much style points as they can for the committee, and they should be doing that. But 7.5 points, a home underdog for Pitt, and Miami plays much better at home than they do on the road this year. That's just a fact. And so I got to take Pitt with the points here at plus 7.5.
Yeah. this is a tough one because Miami's just so up and down. I mean, I think we've both been in agreement for most of the year that Miami's the most talented team in the ACC, and if they play up to their ceiling or whatever, they'd probably beat everybody in the ACC. The problem is they just don't do that. I mean, they go to SMU and lose Louisville. Even a couple of other games you watch them play, the offense doesn't seem in sync sometimes. And you add to that sort of their recent history of late season collapses, particularly in November road games, and it's a recipe for disaster here. And Pitt looks hot coming off of that beating of Georgia Tech. So I'm with you. I mean, I think Miami could win the game, but if I can get Pitt at home getting a touchdown, that's hard to say no to.
That's what I'm saying. I brought it up to 7.5.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a close game. So for that reason, I'll take the underdog plus the touchdown. I'll take Pitt plus the touchdown. But yeah, I do think Miami could win the game. Must win, obviously.
Wilson, yeah. Here we go with the Miami. Nobody hates Miami. You guys, you're almost as bad as Notre Dame fans are.
The only people that hate Miami is Miami fans. That's why they don't go to the games.
Yeah. I think we just both said that Miami's the best team in the ACC, but that has nothing to do with the point spread on the road in week 14.
Right.
Nothing.
Do you think Pitt will be ranked by the playoff committee tomorrow after that win over Georgia Tech?
Probably, yeah.
Because
yeah.
I don't know if there's anything, I don't know what they're going to end up doing, but it's obviously in the committee's eyes better to beat a ranked team than a non-ranked team. So if they rank Pittsburgh tomorrow and then Miami beats them, that in their eyes, that then it would be a ranked win, which would be good for Miami. All right, I'm going to go to a Friday game. There's some great games on Friday, too. The Egg Bowl is at noon. You got Georgia Tech at 3:30, and then Texas A&M at 7:30. So great games in all three time slots on Friday, Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. I'm going to go to Texas A&M in Texas. I'm just not buying the Texas thing. They looked good this past week against one of the worst defenses in the country, not just the SEC, but the country, Arkansas. And Arch Manning had video game numbers. But you don't have to go back very far. In fact, you only have to go 2 games back to see what Arch Manning looks like when he plays a talented defense. And, that's what he's facing here. Now, it is a home game for Texas. It'll be a hostile environment for A&M. But there just hasn't been a single week this year where Texas has looked like the better team to me than Texas A&M. And they're a 3-loss team. Texas A&M has beat everybody they played. I think A&M goes into Texas and gets the win. And because the line is under a field goal, I'll lay the points. I'm going to take the Aggies minus 2.5. I think Marcel Reed will have a big game at quarterback for Texas A&M. And I think the A&M defense, particularly the front four, is going to harass Arch Manning, probably force him into a couple of mistakes. I mean, Arkansas just didn't have the ability to do that. They can't get to the quarterback. They can't cover on the back end. I mean, how many games has Arkansas had 500 yards of offense and lost? Like, their defense is horrifically bad. Texas A&M's is not. So I don't think we're going to see last week's version of the Texas offense. I think it'll look a lot more like what it looked like against Georgia. I'm going to take A&M to go in there and get the win and finish the regular season 12-0.
Yeah, I almost actually picked this game, but I made it one of my alternate ones in case you pick one like the same that I did. So, but I'm in total agreement with you. I actually am going to bet this game. I think A&M is going to make Arch Manning's life miserable. Anytime he's faced a decent defense, he's played terrible.
Yeah,
and it's just the way it's been all year. And A&M, have they played perfect all year? No, but guess what? They haven't lost a game. And I mean, they're in jeopardy if they lose this game. There's scenarios where they still couldn't make the SEC championship game. So they this is a must win for A&M, despite the fact they're undefeated. So, and I think they're going to go in there and do it. I think they win by double digits.
Yeah, the tiebreakers for the SEC championship game are basically if A&M and Alabama win, they will play in the SEC championship game. if either of them lose, then Georgia gets in. So if Bama wins and A&M loses, it'll be Georgia versus Bama. If Bama loses and A&M wins, it would be Georgia versus A&M. So that's your scenarios for the SEC championship game. Now, do you know what it is for the ACC? I think it's going to be Virginia and SMU, but there are some other scenarios. Like Miami still has a chance to get in, but they need like 2 out of 3 teams ahead of them to lose or something weird like that.
Yeah, it's convoluted. There's all kinds of different scenarios that could happen.
Yeah.
The most likely is what you said is going to be Virginia and SMU. But if Virginia loses, SMU loses, and Miami wins, and Georgia the Georgia Tech game doesn't matter, does it? I guess that's the only scenario where they could possibly get in. I don't know. There's like 4 different scenarios. I don't really know, but I think there's about a 90% chance you're going to see Virginia and SMU in there.
Yeah. All right. What else looks good on here?
Let's see here. Those are the ones I had written down. Let me scroll through here.
You think there's any chance Ole Miss loses the Egg Bowl? Distractions, Lane Kiffin leaving.
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
Actually, that's another game. I'm glad you brought that up. I talked about that this morning. What was it? 7 points? I think.
Yeah, around there. 6.5 on ESPN. It's 7 in some other places.
Yeah. Did you hear what Lane Kiffin said today? I don't know if it was today or yesterday.
No, I don't think so.
Of course, they're still asking him about, leaving and all that. And he's like, well, look, I think what they asked him was, do you think that all of the attention around the coaching search and, your name being mentioned in it, is that going to affect the performance of the players in this game or something? And he's like, look, this is a different world. He said, it's not the same way it was 20 years ago. These kids aren't as focused on who their coaches or their teammates are going to be next year. Like every player is a free agent all the time. So they're really just focused on what they're doing now. And they're not like a fan who's going to be a fan for the rest of their life. Players just don't think that way these days. Now, to me, that says a lot about what I think he's going to do. But I also think he's right about that. I don't really think that what's going on with Lane Kiffin is going to affect the way that the players play. I still think the players want to win this game. I still think the players want to go into the playoffs and win there, whether he's coaching there or not. So I expect Ole Miss to go in there and just rout them, honestly. 6.5 points, give me Ole Miss in that.
Yeah, and those players just happen to be a whole lot better than the Mississippi State players, too. So there has been some weird outcomes in the Egg Bowl, just like is the case for all of these rivalry games. But again, I go back to the Texas A&M thing. Can you even point out one week to me where Mississippi State looked better than Ole Miss? I mean, they had that win early in the season against Arizona State.
Yeah, and week 2 or something.
And then, they tried hard and came close to Tennessee and tried hard and came close to Texas, but those were both losses. And, Ole Miss just keeps rolling outside of that loss at Georgia. But, I mean, they beat Oklahoma the week after they lost to Georgia, so they just – I don't know. It's hard for me to have enough faith in Mississippi State at this point to see them pulling off the upset. And, of course, they're kind of in a no-win. If they do lose, then what's the first thing everybody's going to say, including us probably, is, Lane Kiffin must have, he was distracted or whatever. Even though we don't really know how much. I'm like you, like, okay, what does that have to do with the players? But if he loses – the Ole Miss fans especially will blame the never-ending coaching distractions. And they won't be happy with Lane if that happens. But I don't expect that to happen. I like Ole Miss in that one too. Georgia Tech, just under 2 touchdowns. I'll take Georgia. The narrative about Georgia not covering ended 7 weeks ago. I don't know why that continues to be brought up. They are a covering machine the second half of the season, outside of the Charlotte game, but that game doesn't even count really. But I mean, they covered against Texas. They covered against. Did they cover against Florida? No. They took a knee at the end of the game at the 1 yard line. Remember, they slid down instead of scoring a touchdown. Could have covered there. Covered against Ole Miss. Covered against Auburn. And Georgia Tech, we talked about Arkansas's defense. I can't believe how bad the Georgia Tech defense has gotten the second half of this season. They've given up 130 points in the last 4 games to NC State, Boston College, and Pitt.
Yeah.
130 something. They can't stop anybody. And Georgia is balanced and they're two-dimensional. They can run, they can throw. I mean, I like Haynes King. He's a fun player to watch, and he does everything he can. And whatever Georgia Tech accomplishes this year will be because of Haynes King. But I don't think one of those accomplishments is going to be beating Georgia, and I'd be surprised if this thing was even close. It's a neutral site game because Georgia Tech sold their rights to the home game for $10 million. So, there'll be 75% Georgia fans there. I don't see Georgia's basically coming off of a bye week where Georgia Tech is coming off their biggest game of the year, a game in which they got beat down. I know what the final score was, but they were down 21-0 in the first quarter of that game. It was over before it ever started. The game was close last year, 8 overtimes. I don't care about any of that. It doesn't mean anything to me now. I think Georgia wins by 17.
Yeah, this is rough for Georgia Tech. I mean, they going in just a week ago, they had ACC hopes. They still have playoff hopes on the line, winning the ACC. All that has gone out the window, most likely. And they're beat down. Their fans are beat down. I'm seeing people, because I follow a bunch of Georgia Tech fans on Twitter, and they're selling their tickets for 25% of the price. They've already bought tickets to the Georgia game, and they're just done. And so, yeah, you got to figure, and I'm not saying, I don't know, obviously, what's going on in that locker room, but I just have to imagine that some of that energy filters down to the players. And I don't know, this isn't even really a home game for Georgia Tech. It's in Atlanta, yeah, but it's at a neutral site stadium, and it's like you said, it's going to be like 80% Georgia fans there. So I don't know. I feel like this could get ugly. I honestly do. I mean, Georgia Tech's defense is so fucking bad. It's almost unbelievable how bad they are.
Yeah.
This could get ugly early, just like the Pitt game did.
Harry says, why would Kiffin say anything? He still has the Egg Bowl and the college football playoffs to play. Well, the same reason the Georgia athletic director came out and said something when his name was attached to the LSU athletic director opening. If you know you're going to stay where you're at, there's no harm in coming out and saying it. So, just like Sarkisian did, just like Matt Rule did, just like whatever fill-in-the-blank coach has done. Kurt Signetti, all these people whose names get attached somewhere, and the coach comes out and says, no, I'm not leaving, I'm not taking that job, I'm staying here. The Georgia AD did it 2 weeks ago when his name got mentioned for the LSU opening. Like, that's the reason you would do it.
Yeah.
So, now, the reason you would not, if you're leaving, yeah, don't say anything, which is why people think he's leaving because he's not saying anything.
That's the only reason I think he's leaving. I mean, I have no idea. I mean, he might stay, but to me, if he was gonna stay, he would have just came out and said, "Look, I'm staying."
Yeah.
And so everyone can shut the fuck up about it. But no, he hasn't said that.
I mean, I hope he stays just because it would be like the greatest troll job on. Like he's definitely trolling. I think we talked about this. It might have been on your show earlier today. He's definitely trolling 2 schools. We just don't know which 2.
Yeah.
He could be trolling Florida and LSU, and he knows he's staying at Ole Miss all along. Or he could already know he's going to Florida, in which case he's just trolling LSU and Ole Miss. Or he could be going to LSU, in which case he's just trolling Florida and Ole Miss. I don't know. I have no idea. But it's going to be, the minute that Egg Bowl ends, the pressure is going to start mounting for some sort of an announcement. I guess it was the AD said they were going to announce something the Saturday after the Egg Bowl, which would be this coming Saturday. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious at this point to see what happens. They've got me hooked on the storyline. I mean, I'm not going to lie. At least twice a day, I go to Twitter and type in Lane Kiffin's name just to read the latest rumors and innuendo. And, I could get my hair cut by somebody who sniffs jocks at Florida's athletic department, and they told me it's a done deal, that kind of shit. I get a kick out of reading that kind of thing, but I don't have any idea what he's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, I know it was 100 years ago, but Lane Kiffin left Tennessee in the middle of the night. I'm sure he's grown up since then, but I mean, you could take the coach out of Tennessee, but I don't think you could take the Tennessee out of the coach.
Yeah.
He's, I don't know. It's not when he says it's not about the money. I actually believe him because he'll get whatever money he wants at Ole Miss if they want to keep him. Yeah. So it's not. I don't think it really is a money issue now. But there's other things involved. So there's NIL involved. Obviously boosters, just overall resources to compete for a national title year in and year out.
Control and the ability to be left alone by other people. I don't want, if I come here, I don't want the boosters meddling or the president meddling or the aide. I want to be able to do what I want to do.
That's probably a mark in Ole Miss's favor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if he goes to LSU or Florida, they're going to be meddling.
Right.
I mean, isn't Steve Spurrier on some sort of board there at Florida?
Oh, fuck, I don't know.
Isn't he like the de facto general manager there, I think? I think he is.
I don't know.
I think he is.
I don't know.
LSU is a toxic waste dump. No, they just made a bad hire with Brian Kelly.
All right, let's see. Anything else on Friday here that might be interesting? Not really. Indiana at Purdue, Arizona State. That'll probably be a good game. I don't know how many eyeballs it'll get, but it'll probably be a close game. Texas Tech at West Virginia. I would expect them to roll there. I don't know. Expect no upset there. What else do we have? Clemson and South Carolina. Did we talk about that? Yeah, we talked.
Yeah, we talked. That was one of your picks.
That's right. Yeah.
We both picked South Carolina. For anybody tuning in late.
Central Florida at BYU. BYU is a 17.5-point favorite. They should win. Now, there's a lot of people that when the calendar turned in November this year, they were like, BYU was in this spot last year. Are they going to blow it? Well, so far they haven't blown it. They did take the one loss to Texas Tech, but they have won everything else so far. So they're sitting there at 10-1. A win would punch their ticket to the Big 12 championship game. Same thing with Texas Tech, by the way. They each have one loss. Texas Tech lost to Arizona State. BYU lost to Texas Tech. So as long as Texas Tech and BYU win, they're in. We don't have to worry about any tiebreakers there, and they're both huge favorites. So it looks like that's where we're headed there with the Big 12. Feel free to jump in anytime, Pete. I'm just scrolling the list.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through here, too.
Oregon at Washington. This has been a rivalry game forever, back to the Pac-12 days and even before that. Washington's a decent team, 8-3, I think they are this year. Now, they've played themselves out of any significance in terms of the postseason. But Oregon had a tough game at home this past week against Southern Cal, a must-win game for them, and now they got to go on the road and play a pretty tough Washington team. Whose coach is also this is another coach whose name's being mentioned for a lot of openings, Jed Fish at Washington. But I would expect Oregon to go in there and get the win. It's a tough place to play, rivalry game. They're favored by less than a touchdown. How about them being favored by less against Washington than they were against Southern Cal? That's they were a 10.5-point favorite against Southern Cal and won by 2 touchdowns. Now they're only a 6.5-point favorite against Washington. Now this is a road game, whereas they played at home last week, but I was impressed with Oregon this past weekend, by the way. I thought it was the best game they've played all year. They looked really good.
It was by far the best game they played all year. They needed that too. How about this game? Vanderbilt and Tennessee.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt's been the better team all year, and I still think they are the better team this year. But they're on the road and they're an underdog here by 2.5 points. I gotta say, man, I know this is sort of like the Louisville and Kentucky situation. It's like, well, or Virginia and Virginia Tech. Sometimes Vanderbilt has a better team, and they still fucking lose to Tennessee because Tennessee just owns them. You know what I mean? So, but I call me crazy. I'm bought into the Diego Pavia effect, and I think they go on the road and in a flashy way and win this. Now, I'm not saying they're gonna blow them out, but they're underdog here, so I'll take the points. Give me Vanderbilt plus 2.5.
Yeah, I'm caught between a rock and a hard place here. I like watching Diego Poverty play, but I fucking hate Diego Poverty.
Yeah.
I don't
he's
like,
annoying.
Yeah, I don't like the antics and the look at me shit and the association with Johnny Manziel. There's a lot about him I don't like, but for 60 minutes on Saturday, I like him. I mean, he's fun to watch. It's everything outside of that bothers me with Diego Poverty. It's going to be. I don't know that if Vanderbilt wins this game. I mean, there's always some team or fan base that gets mad. We should have been in the playoffs. Blah, 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 blah. And usually, you can look at that fan base and go, "Come on, man, you didn't really. You lost this game. You lost that." Like Alabama last year, they had no business being in. Come on, they lost to 2 terrible fucking teams or 3-loss team. They had no business being in, no matter how much crying they did. There's a real possibility Vanderbilt wins this game and still doesn't get in. And look, there's going to be some tough decisions that have to be made if that happens. I mean, 10-2 has been considered the cutoff because of what happened last year. But last year, there was enough room for every 2-loss team to get in, with the exception, I guess, of Miami. Vanderbilt could be this year's Miami. Even if they win this game. And it's not that you'll look at them like they're Alabama and go, well, they don't deserve to get in. It'll be just well, who are you going to take out? If they go 10-2, who do they jump? You know, they're not jumping Notre Dame, I don't think. Maybe Miami, but even Miami's not in right now. I mean, I know they're ranked in the top 12, but once you move the Group of 5 team in and the ACC team in, they're out. So you just look around and you go, man, who's gonna lose to where even if Vandy wins, it opens up a spot. The Big 12 is interesting because right now BYU and Texas Tech are in the top 10. Are they really going to kick one of them out and put Vandy in or anybody in? Like if BYU is 11-1 and ranked 9th or 10th tomorrow.
Yeah, that's tough.
And then they lose the conference championship game. You're going to boot BYU out for that? And then what if they beat Texas Tech? There's no way you're dropping Texas Tech from 4 to
No,
13.
Texas Tech's getting in no matter what.
So they're just going to it's looking like they're going to run into it. They're already there's a couple of outcomes that you know the committee is rooting one way or the other. They want Miami to lose. The committee does. That gets them off the hook there. I think they want Vanderbilt to lose too. Because I just don't think they want to have to answer questions about why not 10-2 Vandy? Is it because they're Vandy? So
no, because they're not in the same whatever fucking concentric circle or whatever the fucking group.
They got Venn diagrams to decide who gets the playoff spots now.
Yeah, they're gonna need an astrophysicist out here to draw.
Yeah. As far as the game itself goes, massive advantage for Tennessee to have this game at home. I know Vanderbilt's not considered a huge home field advantage if you have to play there, but it's a massive home field advantage for Tennessee to play in Knoxville. They handled Florida last week, so they kind of got over that hump after not having won down there since 2003, and they played pretty good against a Florida team that we really don't know what to make of them. They looked great against Ole Miss. They looked terrible against Kentucky. They got blown out by Tennessee. Yeah, so I don't really know what to make of that win last week by Tennessee outside of, it's great that you finally won a game down there and after 20 years. I'm leaning Vanderbilt too, though. It feels like
their year to beat Tennessee.
Like
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it feels like this game is going to be close in the fourth quarter. And do you trust G5 Joey or do you trust Poverty to sort of put a 90-second drive together at the end of this game to win it? And I kind of trust Poverty against the Tennessee defense, which has let them down multiple times this year, even at home. You go back to that Oklahoma game. So, it's not like to think, oh, well, we don't lose at home. But Tennessee has owned Vandy. But this is the best Vandy team probably of my lifetime. I think this is a better Vanderbilt team than any of James Franklin's teams there. And he had a couple of good teams there. I think this team's better than any of those. This is going to be an interesting game here. Tennessee would love nothing more than to eliminate Vandy from the playoffs. I just don't know if they can do it. It's going to be a close one. This might end up being one of the best games of the entire weekend.
Who's got the better quarterback? Vandy.
Yeah.
Who's got the better coaching?
Probably have to go with Vabdu. I don't know. Man,
I think so.
I don't hear Josh Heupel's name mentioned for any openings. I do hear Clark Lee's
just
job
about to
name
say that.
So apparently he's hotter name than Heupel right now. I don't know. This is going to be a really good game. I don't want this to come across like I'm shitting on Tennessee. I won't be surprised if Tennessee wins this game at all. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one.
All right, here we go. Here we go. The toilet bowl in the ACC and the SEC. Florida State at Florida.
Yeah, how did we forget that? Where's that? Is that a prime
I don't know.
game?
We got to talk about that one.
No way that's a prime
Florida
time
is
game.
favored by 1.5 at home.
I like how they're putting this game on at 4:30 because they don't want anybody to watch it. It's that bad. You know, you're going to start watching all these great games at 3:30, and you're going to forget that the Florida game comes on at 4:30 because it's an odd start time. They did that on purpose because this is bad football here. This is bad football.
You know how Millis is doing that coin flipping shit?
Yeah.
That's how you ought to bet on this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, just flip a coin.
I'm going with Florida. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going with Florida at home. It's that they're at home. I'm gonna go with them. I don't know. Maybe you think. I'm trying to think. Does Florida State announcing that they're keeping Mike Norvell? Does that help them or hurt them? Like, I wonder if the players are sitting around going, "What? We're keeping this guy?" Or is it the opposite? Maybe they love Mike Norvell. I honestly don't know.
Right.
Maybe they're all in for Norvell. I have no idea, but it is interesting to me that after saying they were going to wait until the end of the season to make a decision on Norvell, they decided to go ahead and announce it right after one of their worst losses of the year last year at NC State, or last week at NC State, when they just looked absolutely horrible. But Florida looked equally as bad this week at home against Tennessee. So I guess I'm going to go with the home team, Florida. I don't know.
Jeez, man.
This is bad. This is bad football.
Yeah, it's bad.
What does the chat think
I don't know, man. I guess I'll take the home team here. I don't really think, like you asked, does that help or hurt them with Norvell staying? I mean, they're so bad, I don't think it matters. I really don't think it matters. I think both these teams have given up. So, which team has more pride and wants to win this more? I mean, it's just a complete abysmal season for both teams. So,
because there's so many great games on, and because of the odd start time, I probably won't watch that game, honestly, unless it's close in the second half, and then I'll force myself to turn one of the TVs to that channel. But, or maybe by 4:30, what we thought would be 3:30 games are not panning out, and so you can switch over at 4:30, but. Boy, that's going to be some bad football.
So what's funny? Let's play Fantasyland here for a second. So the Egg Bowl's on Friday, right? Mm-hmm. They said after the Egg Bowl they were going to announce whether Lane Kiffin was staying, right?
Oh no! Right before kickoff, Florida's going to announce Lane
Kiffin.
Imagine
on Saturday morning they announced that Lane Kiffin's going to Florida. Right, like you said, right before kickoff.
Even better, right before Florida takes the field.
Lane Kiffin runs out.
Off in the distance emerges a helicopter. Lands at midfield. Out climbs Lane Kiffin with a Florida visor on.
Oh my God!
I don't know about the team, but the fans would go nuts.
Yeah. Well, if that happens, give me Florida by 20.
The Lane Kiffin effect.
Lane Kiffin effect. God dang.
Mewtwo, thank you for the super chat. He says Miami better be careful. Yeah, they've got a history of late season collapse. So, and Pitt's no pushover in terms of the ACC anyway. Trackside,
they lost the last 2 or 3 times they played at Pitt.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Shador Sanders is a stud. Apology, Lou. What? Huh?
I guess he's trying to say that you don't think that Lenore Sellers is any good.
No, he said Shador Sanders.
Oh, Shador Sanders. Oh, because he won 1 game in the NFL, he's a stud now.
He did?
Yeah, he made his first start yesterday and they won. Now he threw 3 interceptions doing it. Oh. No, actually, I think he played pretty well, but I think Cleveland's defense yesterday had 10 sacks in a game, dude.
Damn.
the defense won the game. Shador Sanders, I mean, gets the credit for the win. But
Yeah, I don't know what I ever said about Shador Sanders other than I didn't like to watch flashing and all the extracurricular bullshit that he did. But I always said he was a good quarterback at Colorado. And as far as what happened in the draft and all that, I said it was ridiculous that Dylan Gabriel got drafted ahead of him. I didn't think he should have went 1 overall or whatever. But he shouldn't have dropped as far as I don't know what you're talking about, Owen Shador Sanders. An apology. You're going to be waiting a long time on that. I can assure you, and it's going to cost you a lot more than $2. Don't forget, Uncle Lou was once a Florida man. What?
Huh?
What's going on with the?
I don't know.
The combination of stupidity and money. I mean, I love it because of what I do, but this is amazing that these people are willing to give money away to embarrass themselves like that. I don't even know what that means. That I was once. Are you trying to say I was a Florida fan at one time?
He must have watched one of your old videos when you dressed up as Natty Back Steve or something, and
Yeah, I don't know. They definitely.
I don't know.
seem
I can't figure out what he's talking about.
I can't either. Thank you for the $5, I guess, but
Chip Kelly got fired because Shador Sanders beat him. That's true. They fired Chip Kelly after that game, after they lost to Cleveland.
who lost to him? Well,
The Raiders, isn't it? Wasn't he the Raiders offensive coordinator?
I don't even know. I have no idea.
I
I don't
think
watch
so.
the NFL. I have no clue.
Yeah. Anyway, Chip Kelly got fired as the offensive coordinator, and now, of course, everybody, all these schools out there who have fired head coaches are looking for an offensive coordinator too. So, Chip Kelly's coming to LSU. Chip Kelly's coming to Florida. Chip Kelly's going to Penn State. Chip Kelly's going to Arkansas. Yeah. So,
Joelish says it depends on your definition of bad football. I'll be greatly entertained by FSU and Florida.
I'm not going to lie. I'm going to watch some of that game. As bad as it is, I'm still interested to see if it's like really bad during the first half, I might not watch the second half. But I mean, sometimes even bad games, as long as it's competitive and like it goes back and forth score wise, it's still fun watching how bad. Like the Friday night game with Florida State this past week was fun to watch, even though it was bad.
Yeah.
It was entertaining.
Yeah.
But to laugh at how bad they were.
Any bets on an Ohio State-Michigan fight? Well, I mean, you'd have to define fight. Well, a late hit on the sideline and players start pushing each other. Is that a fight? I mean, or does that like somebody throwing a punch and getting kicked out of the game? That kind of fight. I don't think we'll see that. I think you'll see pushing and shoving and yelling back and forth and referees separating people and late hits on the sideline and shit like that. But I don't think you'll see an actual fight, no.
Yeah, but so that does open up Chip Kelly's name for all these jobs now. Chip Kelly to Penn State?
Yeah,
How about that?
Chip Kelly to Penn State. Let's do it. Why not? Fuck.
True.
They need offense bad. They're desperate for offense up there. Chip Kelly will give them that at least. I guess. I don't know.
You think Chip Kelly could have made Garrett Nussmeier a good quarterback this year if he would have been there at LSU? I don't know.
You're water in the wine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ to take over there.
Jesus Christ, Kelly.
All right. Well, I guess that's about it for the games this week. I'm excited for them. What is the? There is a Thursday game. There's one game.
There's a game tomorrow night. Not a good one, but yeah, there's a.
No, Bowling Green tomorrow. Let me see.
Yeah, and UMass.
Here we go. Yeah, Bowling Green and UMass and Western Michigan. Huge rivalry. Western Michigan versus Eastern Michigan.
Isn't that where PJ Fleck came from? Which one of those boat rowing schools did he come from? Is one of those Michigan schools?
I have no clue.
Wasn't it? Maybe
no
it
idea.
wasn't. I don't
Navy
fucking know.
at Memphis on Thursday. Now that might be a good game.
Yeah, that's actually a decent game for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you can stuff yourself. I miss having the Egg Bowl on Thursday night. That went away when ABC bought the TV rights to the SEC. They required 3 games on Friday, so that's why you have the 3 SEC games on on Friday now, but I used to. That's part of my Thanksgiving tradition was stuffing myself all day long and then plopping down and watching the Egg Bowl on Thursday night. Have to settle for Navy and Memphis this year on Thanksgiving. So I don't even know if that's worth streaming. Really, probably not. But I'll be streaming pretty much all day Friday and Saturday. Though I don't have the stream schedule yet for Friday and Saturday. I'll have to check the Patreon poll, and then I'll let y'all know tomorrow night at 9 at the start of the call-in show what the streaming schedule is for Friday and Saturday. But I'll be on Tuesday night and Thursday night. Oh, Thursday night? I don't know. I might not do the call-in. Don't hold me to the call-in show on Thursday. If I come on, I come on. If I don't, I don't. But I will be on Tuesday at 9 for the call-in show. And then streaming all day Friday and Saturday with the kickoff show Saturday at 9 a.m. What you got going on, Pete?
Tomorrow night at 7 p.m., the ACC show. Wednesday night. No, wait, hold on now. I don't think there's going to be a call-in show this week. I got 2 Thanksgivings, so I don't think I'll be available Wednesday night.
Hey, you're extra thankful.
Yeah, believe me. So then I guess Saturday I'll definitely be live for Clemson in South Carolina, the Palmetto Bowl at noon, and that'll be the same time Ohio State and Michigan's on. So I'll be live for both those. I guess there it is.
Yeah, there it is. That's amazing. All right. That is going to do it for today's edition of the Lunch Money Show. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hope you learned something. Good luck to everybody with their bets this week. Hopefully we can all make some money gambling on this college football. It does make it a lot more exciting. All right, I'll see y'all back here tomorrow night at 9 o'clock for the call-in show. But until then, have a good morning.